Okay, so here we are for the third quarterfinal in the Ultimate Supermarket Lager Championship. Before we go any further, let's have a look at the table. So here's the quarterfinals, how they are panning out so far. Lowenbrau's already made it into the semi-final, and if you remember in the last one we had the Staropramen that moved past the Rudgate Pilsner, both beers. Very nice, but the Staropramen was better. Anyway, this is a matchup that I am, well, been looking forward to for a long time. Jupiler, a beer that has absolutely just smashed its way through the competition so far. A really nice beer. Really have been enjoying this, but it's not come up yet against a really good German Helles beer, and this is the Ayinger Lager Hell, which is a really good German Helles beer. What is going to happen with these two, I have absolutely no idea. Whether I will know which one is which is another thing as well. I just don't know. I really don't know whether I'm going to be able to tell these two apart. So, what more can I say? Jupiler, it's been introduced before. It is a Belgian lager. It is 5.2% ABV. Ayinger is a German lager, and it is 4.9% ABV. There is nothing else I can say about this. I just want to get drinking these two. So, without further ado, let's get them cracked open, and into glasses. Beers poured, and let's have a little look at them. So, let's have a look at this one first of all. So, actually, let's tell you which one's which first of all. Okay, this is which one is which. Okay, that was which one was which. Right, let's have a little look in there. So, looking at these two lagers, they both look identical. So, they're both pale straw colour with a little bit of an amber hue to it. I think, yeah, yeah, they are both kind of like got a little tiny bit of amber in them, but they're mainly pale straw colour. Both got very similar heads. In fact, they look like the same beer. To be honest, they really do. They look identical. Similar size of heads as well. Dissipating at a similar rate. I got to say, these are incredibly similar looking beers. Okay, let's see if they've got similar noses though. Okay, let's try this one first. So a little bit of lemon grass, a little bit of syrup. Lemon and grass, not lemongrass. Although I don't know what that is. Smells like fresh air. Smells like fresh air in like the fields or a meadow or something like that. Weird. I'm kind of getting that from it. It just smells really fresh. Smells like fresh air. Kind of in the countryside. Yeah, there's a bit of malt in there as well. You're getting a bit of maltiness in the smell. A little bit of creaminess. Smells really, really good. Smells amazing. Both of these are going to smell amazing, let's face it. But which one's better? Which one is actually going to end up being better at these two? Okay, this one, similar in the smell. Bit stronger, it's a bit stronger nose this one, but very similar profile. Okay, we've got lemon and grass up front, and this one smells a little bit like a fresh air in a meadow. Yeah, it's very, very similar. Again, a little bit of that creaminess, bit of maltiness, a little bit floral. I've got to go back to this one now. This one's got this a little bit more syrupy, this one. They've both got a little bit of spice on the nose as well. A little bit of spice. It's got like sweet spices. Very, very interesting that. Did not expect these to smell as similar as they do, but they really do. Very similar. I'm not going to be able to tell. I can't tell from the smell which one's which out of these because they smell like the same beer almost. That one's got a little bit more sharpness in the lemon, I'd say. This one's got a little bit more syrupiness. So a bit more syrupy, a bit more lemony. That's the only difference I can tell from the smells. These are nice, generous helpings, though. I'm going to start with this one. Cheers. Let's just think that. I'm going to rinse first. Although that did taste delightful then when I just went down. When it went down. Let's see. Okay. So it's, yeah, lovely aftertaste, lovely finish on it. It's got that sweetened maltiness is kind of coating the tongue, but in a really pleasant way. It's just giving the lager a really nice bit of body. It's giving the lager body, and not giving it dirtiness. Or so, when I say about malt, sometimes the malt can give it a little bit of a dirtiness. It really doesn't with this. You can taste the malt. It coats the tongue, gives it a lovely little bit of a savoury note, lovely little tiny bit of earthiness, but absolutely just delicious. Yeah, you're getting some like kind of crops kind of taste there, corn, that kind of thing in the flavour. That's what I'm getting. Not getting a huge amount of like lemon or citrus in this really. It's much more of a, I don't know what the word is, much more of a, like a savoury mouthfeel really, rather than a sweet one. There's a little bit of syrupiness in the flavour, but not a sweet syrupiness, just a kind of a malty kind of syrupiness. I don't know, it's like almost like porridge oats with a bit of syrup on it. That kind of just deliciousness, if that's your thing. It's, this is remarkable. I don't know which one this is, but this is absolutely delicious. It's really nice. That I'm really enjoying that. It's just what I like in a lager. That relatively low bitterness, but it's not soft. There is a bit of bitterness there, just to keep it interesting, just to dry out the palate a little bit, just to make it so you want some more. But it is relatively low bitterness. Certainly low bitterness compared to things like a Pilsner and stuff like that. It is nice. Okay, now let's try this one. Cheers. Now that is different in the taste. They're not the same bit. Definitely different in the taste. The bite is drier. You've still got some of that maltiness in there, but there's more bitterness in this one. So this one definitely has more bitterness than that one. But again, not a lot of bitterness. It's got just the right amount of bitterness for me, this one. A nice little creaminess in it, but in a good way. There is a bit of a, again, I hate to say the phrase malty backbone, but that's my thing now. That's one of my phrases, and it has a lovely little malty backbone running through it. Got a nice bit of bitterness coming over the top, is it? Nice dry bite, a little bit of bitterness on the finish. And it's hard to put my finger on what's actually in the flavour there, but it's quite a complex flavour. There's quite a lot there in it. Is that fizzing? That must be something else. I think it's just some noise. I thought it was the beer fizzing then. I will have to go backwards and forwards between these a few times, because they're both absolutely delicious. You see, this one's delicious. This one's got a little bit more of a bite to it. Which wins it points there. I say this is tastier than this one, but this one's got a little bit more to it. So it's going to be another one of those where it just comes down to, I don't know what I think is better in a lager. I mean, they're both so crisp. I mean, these could well be the best two beers in the whole competition. I mean, you know, that Jupiler is amazing. The Ayinger it's one of those amazing Helles beers, along with the Augustina, which, you know, I would expect to go far. And both of these two, if this was the final, I would consider it an incredibly amazing final and a very strong final. So yeah, I mean, it's got more bitterness than this one, but neither of them are particularly soft. This one's got a lovely, yeah, it's got a nice little dryness that's stopping it from being soft. It's They've both got lovely mouthfeels. They're both as crisp as anything. They're both as clean as anything as well. Yeah, this one getting a little bit more bitterness on this one now in the finish. Yeah, getting the malt, getting more malt forward. This one. This one's a little bit more, I don't know, lemony. What am I? Which one would I? Which one do I prefer? Which one do I think is better out of these two? I don't know, this one is just so tasty. I'd say this one's kind of got more in the way of bitterness. It's got a bit more that people would probably want from a lager. It's probably better put together as a lager. It's got the bitterness there, it's got a nice dryness, it's got a bit of maltiness in it. It's really well balanced. Really refreshing, really clean, really crisp. This one is absolutely delicious, but possibly could do with a bit more in the way of bitterness. That is nice. Nice bit of creaminess. And I think I know which is which at these two. And I might be wrong, and if I start talking about things that I don't know anything about, because I think I know which is which out of these two, then I'll look like a right idiot. But I don't know whether I want to say that yet, or whether I want to try and make myself forget which is which. I don't know. But this one, I think it's only because I know one of them's Jupiler. This kind of has those kind of like Belgian yeasty characteristics that I get from a good like triple, you know, or a good like Belgian, you know, a strong Belgian beer. You get that lovely little flavour from the Belgian yeast. This seems to have it. Now, I don't know whether it is kind of brewed with the same kind of, whether it would have that kind of flavour. I don't know enough about beer to know whether that would be the case, but that would lead me to believe that this was the Jupiler. But I think it is that flavour that's making it so delicious, that kind of flavour that I associate with the Belgian yeast. You get in some of the triples. And some of the Belgian ales, but it's also got everything. It has got everything that. And that one's nice as well. This has got some bitterness to it. Especially if you roll it around the back of your tongue. It's got a nice bit of bitterness to it. So yes, results are going to be in then, and if I've got the beers the wrong way around, I'm going to look like a right idiot, but it doesn't matter. Basically, this is far too delicious not to put it through. This is just amazing, it really is. I mean, this is flawless. This is flawless. This is flawless. But this is just tastier. It's got more flavour to it. It has got a bit of bitterness. I was just thinking if it was a little bit too soft, then this would win it, just because, you know, you don't want a lager that's too soft. But it's not. It's got a nice bit of bitterness to it. It's got that lovely little, almost like a little caramelly note in the background, which is nice as well. Keeps it a little bit more interesting. It's almost like it's a really good lager plus a little bit something else. So I think that's the way it's going to go. I really do. I don't know though. That's the thing, you see. I think I said I think this is going to go through, didn't I? Because the thing is that's dry and it's bitter, but it's not unpleasantly bitter. It's just nicely bitter and crisp and gorgeous. They're just so gorgeous. I mean, I knew at this stage of the game, and certainly these with the semi-finals, I imagine, Gonna have to make some pretty tough decisions here. But this is hard. And I am running out of beer. Wow. I'm thinking this is possibly the hardest decision I've ever had to make so far. Because that's just so tasty as well. And this is so tasty. Can't have a draw, can we? We've got to put one through. And I'm out of beer. Well, I still don't officially know which is which, really. So it doesn't really matter what I think is what out of these. I think that I'm going to... right, so what I'll do is... I did say this one, so I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to stick with this one, because I can't make a decision. Something made me say this one. This one is just so delicious. This one is so delicious. Tell you, if you can get either of these beers anywhere, I advise you to get them, because they're absolutely amazing. That's it. That's the way it goes. This one's going through. I think this is the Jupiler, if I'm going to guess, but we'll find out in a minute. Well, it's official. I really don't know what I'm talking about. And you probably think, well, mate, we knew that anyway. So yeah, I said this was the Jupiler, didn't I? Because I could smell that, I could taste the Belgian yeast and all that nonsense. Well, I'm reliably informed that that is not the case. They were this way round, which is just interesting, because this just tasted like Ayinger to me, and this tasted, well, like it could have been Jupiler. I'm going to have to now... Right, I'm going to have to now do another do on these. Oh, there wasn't much left in the bowl. Okay. So let's try this Ayinger again. Yeah, that is definitely that beer from before. Yeah, remarkable. That was the beer. Yeah. So there we go. That will be interesting. I thought this Jupiler was going to go all the way, and I didn't put it through because it was Jupiler either. Because even though I thought that might have been the Jupiler, you know, it was better. I thought it was better. But I've got a nice bit of dryness. So all that nonsense I was talking about Belgian yeast, I don't know, really. It did have that kind of flavour that I sometimes get in a Belgian, in like a Belgian strong ale. But this is quite possibly, because it's a lager, it's probably brewed in a different way anyway. So it's probably not that I'm tasting anyway. But yep, that was definitely the more bitter one. This is the Ayinger Hell. It is an amazing lager. But it is just so tasty. It's so tasty. We've got some bitterness there. Lovely and clean, lovely and crisp. Got lovely maltiness running through it. It's the full works. It's lovely and balanced. And it is great. It is absolutely great. This one's a little bit more bitter. If you like your beers a little bit more bitter, go for this one. If you like them a little bit less bitter, go for this one. These are both perfect lagers, as far as I'm concerned. They are both absolutely amazing. But I don't know which one's which. I can't tell which one's which. So let's pull my empty bottle of Jupiler now down on the floor. Let's move the glass out of the way. And here is our winner, the Ayinger, taking the 3rd spot in the quarterfinals. What will join it? We've got the Hawkstone or the Augustina. No idea which one will join it, but I can't wait to find out. Till next time, have a good one.